How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I am so excited to have this conversation with
I
you.
am too. I'm just excited to be here.
Well, that is awesome. So we are live. So I'm going to give
I'm
us a
gonna.
few minutes to
Okay.
start the streaming. So if you want to check your social media, you can. But
I
I
see
am
it.
so excited that we are here today, and we're gonna talk. I know we had talked about before doing something live in events,
Yeah.
and I am fortunate enough to get you in a virtual space. So we still get to have this time.
We do. We do.
So again, I'm thankful to have you here. I know we had talked, like I said, about doing this event,
hmm
and we are still moving forward in our virtual platform with WCR, and that's kind of how we met. That's kind of how our connection and reflection is how we started. So I'm so excited to be this far here and have the opportunity to share some of your coaching, some of your experience, and some of your knowledge with
hmm
join us today. So tell us, Taisha, a little bit about you and what we got going on today.
Well, I'm sure most people know me. You already said my name, Taisha Andrews, and you're right. We met WCR several years ago. I had seen you several times before then, but we never really sat down and talked about about much. Just kind of passing how we typically do. But in getting to know you through WCR, it's your personality is just the funnest thing.
Well, thank
So
you.
that's definitely been fun. But no, really, I know previously we talked about just me teaching or talking about some things dealing with. I'm a John Maxwell certified trainer and coach, and I really love the different books and products and things that John Maxwell teaches. So that's what we, had previously talked about doing. And you asked me, I'm here.
Thank
Got a little nerves
you.
going on, but I'm here.
Well, we do have some people joining the live, and get nervous because we're gonna jump right in. I mean, I think this is a perfect opportunity. Like I said, we have this platform,
hmm
and we have a lot that let's. What are you reflecting on? What are we gonna talk about
Well,
in the principles today?
well, I we're going to talk about the law of reflection, but
Okay.
I by no means am sitting here saying I'm an expert, on the law of reflection at all. The only reason why I am sitting here talking about it today is because I've had to stop and do a lot of reflecting these last several months.
Yes.
Exactly,
Yes.
I I've had to stop myself, and really sit down and think about, what's my end game here? What's my goal? What am I trying to do? So things that I've been reflecting on, and they're no different than what I'm sure you're reflecting on, and probably everybody else is where are we going? Where do I go from here?
Right.
We all know that our everyday has changed,
It
not just
has.
in how we do business, but really how we're doing life in general. And so my reflecting has not just been where does my real estate business go from here, but how does my family move forward from here? How do my kids move forward from here? Because I have three kids and they're all running around the house wanting to get out and do things and activities. So I
Right.
yeah, and you know that.
We just,
So
I got a handful with one. We just talked about that.
so
So
just imagine
yes.
if he was three, if he had three of them. So
So
really, yeah, so that's what I've been reflecting on, just sitting reflecting on how I want to grow during this time. Because it'd be a shame to have all this time that we've been given, good, bad, or indifferent, but to not be spending it growing
mhm.
and end up the same at the end of this year, the same person that we were, when 2021, well, when 2020 started. I'm trying to jump us ahead of year.
I know. So I know the last time I had Tisha Perry on, and she's a life coach, and we talked a lot about self-care, and we talked about how important it is during this time, because when you sit still, you have to reflect on who you are. The mirror's right there. You can't run from it, because we need to be sheltered in place. So everyone needs that time, that place to pause. So it's kind of like we've been put in a position to do just that.
Yeah, we have, but one of the interesting things that still makes it so difficult for us to take time to pause and to find a place to pause is now we're having to pause with everybody in the house. And we're having to find a place to pause with everybody in the house. So think about this. I'm going to ask you, when we talk about self-care, we talk about taking a time to pause, or are setting aside a place to pause, typically, what would be your self-care? Just if you were saying, I need to break, I need to step away, I need to just clear my mind, what would you typically do?
Okay. Studies is my self-care, because I get in the car and drive. I like to listen to the music. I like to just have my thoughts, nobody else around, and I get to clear my head, so either I'm, blasting some gospel or some ratchet. That is my moment where,
One or the other.
And it's been with me, because I grew up in Montgomery. So as a teen or as a young adult, that free time was riding around the boulevard, because I tell anybody, our city is a circle. So, I like to, now I live in the Tri-County area, so I get on that interstate in that hour really to myself, either just driving to Montgomery, coming back, on interstate, or riding around the boulevard. It allows me to clear my head without because if I'm at home, it doesn't matter. If someone needs me, I'm called to their attention. If I hear the laundry bing, if I hear the dishwasher finally stop, I'm no longer focused on me, But that car time, and then we have several cars, but I have my favorite, my Kia. It's my favorite. And it does. It gives me an opportunity to, if I can do it, because usually my husband, that's his time to be at home with our son, that co-parenting sharing time in the house, because it's a balance, for him to spend individual time, you to have space to have that pause time. And so that's what I do.
So, and that's good. And the good thing about what you said is that during this COVID-19, you can still get in your car and go ride around.
I don't have to get out anywhere.
Think about those people. Yeah, you can just get in and drive to be able to clear your mind. But think about the others that can't do that. Or maybe the one that's the single parent at home and can't leave the child, the other parent, and go around the car. So when I think about that, I'm thinking about where is my space set? A lot of times people, if I want quiet time, I have to go sit outside. But it might only be a matter of time before somebody else comes out there and joins me.
And you know what? Let me tell you about my outside, because I do have a space outside, and you're familiar with my house. I'm trying to confiscate the outside unit to make it my she shed, so I can absolutely have a spot. But I do have a spot outside, but the bugs have taken over. Not so much people, the summer bugs. So I'm like, outside is not working. I can get in my car with the air conditioning. I do understand. I do.
Yeah, so you have to be able to create that space. And like you said, one of the things is that my space, I could say, okay, well, I'm going to clear all the stuff off my desk and I'm going to sit here. But when I'm sitting at my desk, my mind is going to, what do I need to work on? What should I be doing? So the space really needs to be somewhere that when you go there and sit down, your mind and your body knows, this is where I'm coming. This is my place to relax my mind, relax my body. I don't have to necessarily think about anything. If I just want to sit quietly and not have any thoughts run through my mind, that's what I can do in this place. And so that's something that everybody needs to have, that place where they can just sit and just rest their mind and their body. And that's important.
And I think that leads us to the eyes. When you have that space, when you have that time, that's when you get to investigate and incubate your thoughts. And
that's right. That's right. So the eyes, the 4 eyes. So basically, like you said, the investigation is the first. Sometimes we sit down and we're taking that pause and we're reflecting, but what are we reflecting on?
Mhm.
What are we really reflecting on? What am I really trying to think through? What am I really trying to figure out? And in John Maxwell's book, he says that pausing means more than just slowing down and smelling the roses. It means stopping and really figuring them out.
Yes.
So really, when we stop, we want to really stop and we want to investigate, what are we reflecting on? The second was the word incubation. And that really is just taking the experiences from the day, or maybe the experiences for the week, or maybe just some past life experiences that you're sitting and reflecting on and really putting them into the slow cooker of your mind. We're really going to sit and let them stir around for a little bit, and incubate in our mind, so that we're really thinking about how we want to move forward from there.
Right. And
then illumination. At the end of the day, when we sit down and think about our experiences, let's just say if I sit down at the end of today and I think about my experiences from today, just today alone, there should be a result of either me applauding myself like, Tice, you know
right.
what? You really did a great job today. Or it might be me giving myself a prod and saying, you did this well, but this right here, you have an opportunity to do better. So those are the two different ways that you can look at that when you're sitting back and just in that illumination stage. And then the last is illustration. And that's really us taking those thoughts and those ideas that we have and putting some meat on it. Think of it like a skeleton. We're going to put some meat on that so that when we come out of that space, we're clear about what direction we're going in and what it is that we're aiming to do. And that we just, and it's okay sometimes if we just sit and twiddle our fingers. Sometimes we need that. A lot of times we need that. But the purpose for the pause and reflection is so that as I'm sitting, right, I'm reflecting on my experiences, things I've learned. And in that, my goal is to grow.
Right. That time allows that growth to catch up. So
that's right.
Like that experience and those lessons, if we don't take time to absorb them to its fullest, we don't take that opportunity to grow to our extent that we have all of our possibilities to do.
That's absolutely right. I gave an example of somebody yesterday of, think about just as a real estate agent, all the classes that you take. Mm-hmm. You're always sitting in classes. You're always going to training. But how many times do we stop and reflect on the training that we received so that we can think about how we're going to put it into action? We're just always grabbing, going. Mm-hmm. And when we stop to think and reflect on it, we put it into play. That's what allows us to continue to grow in our business and in our lives.
And I guess we don't value so much our experiences and how, if we reflect on them, we investigate them, because sometimes our experiences don't feel good. And we don't want to eliminate, those times, but those times where we didn't get it right and we reflect on it with more knowledge, that's that opportunity for that growth. And
sometimes that's even where you grow the most. You grow out of those areas that didn't feel good, that were unpleasant. It could have been bad experiences, something that was traumatic for you. And you didn't stop at that moment, but even years later, you sit down and you really reflect on it, and you can see how it grew you,
I'm thinking that the times that we are in right now are going to be a time that we reflect back and really, I think, have an opportunity to grow. I think that as a society, as an opportunity, we can reinvent. And I think the generation of children are so much smarter than us. The technology is basically how they came out, attached to it. So the reinvention of who we are, I think, can be magnified. And we're going to reflect back and see that on those pauses and in these moments right now, we did come out with what's going to be on the other side better.
Yeah. I mean, even think about right now, how many people have created things during this time. Mm-hmm. They realized and discovered different giftings that they have. They started other hobbies because they're sitting still. They had time to sit and just really reflect on where they are right now. And maybe it was because they needed to figure out how they need to have another stream of income, or just get their kids more engaged in something. Or maybe they just wanted to pick up on a new hobby or a new skill. This time has allowed them to do that.
You know, I
So,
wish that I would have kept my sewing machine because back in the 80s,
oh Lord.
that first fabric that I thought I was, the seamstress of the, I and to think I could have had a side hustle if I would have just kept my sewing right now.
My mom always tried to get me to sew. My mom sewed ever since I was born, and that's just something I have never been interested in. So y'all can have those sewing machines. I don't want
Look,
no
it was
part
that
of that.
one homemade class where I felt great.
Mm-mm,
And my
mm-mm.
outfit was
I'll
cute. You know
pass.
how when you're so proud to I didn't do very well in the cooking part, but I was so proud to put on my little jumper and romper from that homemade class because I had focus. And I must say, my mom always believed in whatever high spirited moment I was in. My mother was my number one cheerleader, so she went out and bought me a sewing machine. And I
Good.
don't think I sewed anything past that one homemade pattern. But you're right,
Well, you
though.
you got time to pick it back up.
As we I know, as we spend time, we are reflecting how we can become more resourceful to people, more,
That's right.
people want to be a part of helping and service, and that in itself is initiating so many plans and so many
That's right.
ideas that, not only can help someone, but also benefit them. So you're
That's right.
right.
You got to think when you pause to reflect, it's not just about the benefits are not just for you.
Right.
When we pause, like you just said, when we pause and reflect, some of the things that come out of that are going to be things that are going to help other people grow, are going to be able to aid other people. So that pausing and reflecting is not necessarily just about you. It's going to be, you're going to learn from those experiences. You're going to be able to help somebody else through an experience that they're having, something that's coming down the road that maybe they don't even know, but you're going to be in place to be able to help them with that. So it has so many benefits. It's not just about you.
You're
Yeah,
right. You're
that's
so
true.
right.
There's three reflection questions that I think are important to ask yourself every day. And maybe, at the end of every day or maybe at the end of your week. The first one is, what did I learn today? Taking a moment to just write down what you learned today. The second is, how can I apply what I learned today? And then the third one is, how can I pass on what I learned today? And I think that's one that's really most important.
Well, I thank you for taking your time out today because as I reflect since the time I met you and our relationship has, formed, I can often call you, and it's so hard being in this industry, and it's
Mhm.
allowed me to see how important and valuable relationships are. But
Yeah.
you can center me really quickly. Like those three things, you make people ask themselves, so
Yeah.
you spend time on leaning on your knowledge to be of service to
Mhm.
get other people to reflect, because most of the times you already know. And if you just take that time and pause and think about it, write it down. Like you brought me back to
Mhm.
notes, and then you
Yeah.
build upon what can you do with that and then pass it along.
Mhm.
So
That's
I
right.
want I want to thank you so much for just being you and
You're welcome.
taking your time today and coming on. I'm so thankful that we have this platform. Leaders are made here. I respect your leadership in the community and the service that you provide. I mean, again, thank you so much for being part of today's live and giving us a moment to reflect. I'm just going to check the
Absolutely.
screen because we don't have any comments, but we've had people on live and just giving anybody opportunity if they wanted to ask Taisha some questions while we have this wealth of opportunity here. And then if not, we'll just, call it our working Wednesday for today.
Yeah.
This has
Well,
been
thank you
great.
so much. Thank you for having me again. I always look forward to having a chat with you because it's always fun. So I appreciate you, letting me just sit here and talk about this. Definitely. Yeah.
Leaders are definitely made here, and I'm excited that through this opportunity to be in this network, I've got to know some wonderful women in this
Mhm.
community,
Oh yeah.
some realtors that really inspire me. That
Mhm.
because through service you see who they are, and I'm thankful.
Yeah.
Well, it's been great. We're gonna have to talk again.
Absolutely.
And I want to thank you for your time today. And Let me know if there's anything I can ever do to assist you. Please feel free to reach out, okay?
I'll be calling you.
Well, you know I'm gonna answer. If AJ got my phone, I'm gonna text you back.
All right, girl. Well, enjoy.
You too.
So
You too. We'll talk soon, okay? Thanks.
Okay. Bye-bye.